Okay, so today is October 23rd, 2023. This video I want to show you how to replace an electrical outlet, just a standard electrical outlet. Over time these can get loose, like if there's a heavier thing, like it holds on to it, but it's like barely, and it ends up falling out of the wall. Certain cords it doesn't do that, but like the heavier ones it's starting to do that. And it shouldn't do that. So first off, you want to turn the power off at the breaker panel and basically shut off any power. Now I have a GFI that controls that, so it's not technically proper, but as long as the power is off, it should be good. So yeah. So what you're gonna need is a Phillips head screwdriver or a Phillips head bit on your drill, flathead, wire cutters and needle nose pliers, and wire strippers. Now you can get replacement electrical outlets for fairly cheap. This is pretty standard, so I'm not gonna worry too much. This is just in my kitchen. This is the most used outlet. We're always plugging in mixers, crock pots, blenders, everything you can think of, we're always plugging them into this outlet. So I don't want this loose like that. And this house is about 20 years old, over 20 years old. It was built in 2002. So slowly but surely we're going to need new outlets. You're going to take that cover off, pretty self-explanatory. And then before you touch anything, make sure that you test that there's no voltage. Really important. And then you're gonna take these screws all the way out. And then it's gonna be a little stiff. You're going to pull these wires out. Now, you have 2 whites and 2 blacks on this setup. And one of these sets is going to have power. It's going to be your line side and your load side. Now, let me see if I can get an outlet out here and show you this. Because this might be confusing. If you just have one set of wires, you're gonna feed it to your line side. So if I can get this open, yeah, here we go. So you have line and load It might not be clearly labeled, but yeah. So, and this is protected by a GFI down the line. So what will happen is power will come into one of these, and then it will pass through the outlet and go down the next set of wires to feed the outlets down the line. There's another one down here, down in this direction, and then there's another one, another two in this direction. So again, double check. Okay, we're good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove these from the terminals. Okay. So I'm gonna do that. Oh man. You might need your needle nose to kind of help you MacGyver these off. And I might not need to strip these or trim these, but we'll see. I'm gonna get these off and try not to damage the wire, but I'm gonna get these off here. There we go. And same with the neutrals on this side, the whites. So it's gonna be a pain. This wire is really stiff. But yeah, just want to get those off of there. Okay, so we have our black and white wires up here, black and white wires up there, and down there. And we're going to remove our ground, which is the green screw and bare copper wire. Now, there we go. There's the old one, and here's the new one. So, I'm going to separate these wires out and make sure that they're not touching. Very important. And just briefly, now you got to be careful when you do this. Just briefly, I'm going to turn the power back on and see which one is the line and which one is the load. So, the ones that make this turn red or beep is the one that has power. So in this case, it's the lower set that's feeding. This upper set is carrying power to the outlets downstream. So we're going to turn that back off. We're going to make sure that these are dead before we touch them. Always make sure. You can never be too safe. Now, this should be fairly easy. Now, you have your gold screws and your silver screws, and then your green ground screw here. Your silver screws are going to go to your white wires, and your gold screws are going to go to your black wires. And then the green screw is going to go to this bare copper ground wire, always. So that's just the rule of thumb. The silver goes to white, and the gold goes to black. So, I don't see a load or line side here. So I'm guessing that this is going to be just hook it up the way it was. And if you want to, you can strip your wires again, but I don't feel like I need to because they look to be in pretty good shape. If they were damaged or worn out, I would probably do that, but I'm not too worried about it. This is in pretty good shape, so yeah, I'm gonna make sure that this is on that screw. Okay. So, and then we're gonna put the white on the silver. White on silver. If you need to bend these a little more, you can. That's what these pliers are for. And you're just gonna hook it up. Now, I want to try to avoid too much copper being exposed and hanging outside of the outlet here. So, there we go. Get it on there. There we go. You don't want the insulation being pinched in the screw terminal either. You want to make sure that there's plenty of that exposed, which I have. This is actually in pretty good shape. I don't have a whole lot of things to do with this. So, yeah. You just want to make sure it's tight, like I said. Alright, that should be good. I'm gonna hook up the other white while we're over here. Get him on there. The wires are kind of stiff, so it's not like an electrical cord on an appliance or anything. They're kind of stiff, so just be prepared for that. That's normal. So, Just make sure they're snug. And then make sure you have the right wires from each. Yeah, that one's going to the bottom. Okay. You always want to make sure. And then whatever direction the screws tighten, you want the hook to be going in that direction. So righty-tighty, so you want it to hook so as it tightens, it pulls it in a little more. Now, yeah, I've got to try to see if I can get this on there. Okay, I'm going to hook it a little more. And this is fairly easy. I mean, as long as the wiring is there and there's nothing funky going on, it's fairly easy. If you run into problems or you're not comfortable with this, please do not continue. Contact an electrician or somebody who knows more. And I am not a licensed electrician, by no means. So, just a disclaimer. I'm just a guy who likes to take care of his home. That's all it is. So, tighten that down. It's on there. It's not going anywhere. And let's get this guy on here. Lastly. So, yeah. And some older homes will have different wiring. I think, I don't remember, but there was a time period about 100 years ago where there was knob and tube and stuff like that. A lot of that is already like dealt with and phased out, but sometimes older houses like from the 1800s and early 1900s still have it. Now, this house was built in the early 2000s. It's like not that old, so I'm not worried about this. This is all newer. It's up to code. All that. And just make sure your wires are snug on there. And you're going to take your wires, kind of bend them gently and push them back into the box. Okay, so that should be good there. Make sure that nothing funky's going on, nothing's loose, nothing's rubbing. I think we're good. So yeah. So I'm gonna slowly guide these in. Don't want to put them all the way in yet, because we gotta get both of them in. Make sure that they're good. sure that these are in. Actually, I want to make sure that nothing's inch too bad. Everything looks fine. Nothing's. It's just tight. There's a little extra wire in here, which is not bad. You want to make sure that you have enough if you need to trim it or whatever in the future. But yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to loosen these just a little bit so we can make sure that it's centered. And then can sit it down now. Put on the cover, actually. It's a little too snug. You don't want it loose, but you want a little give so it can actually line up decently and not be a mess. Again, there's so much wire in here that's probably not gonna hurt it if it's a little loose, but yeah. So you can also put outlet spacers in here. I might do that off camera. It's a little cattywampus here, so but yeah. So you're gonna put that plate back on, snug it up. I would only use a hand screwdriver for that. These are very delicate and they're just little screws, so I would be careful with that. Now let's turn on the power and see what we've got. So this is the hot side, neutral. Now this is a tester. You want to make sure that it's wired correctly, and in this case it says the two orange lights mean it's wired correctly. So you're going to test both outlets. That one's good and that one's good. Okay, so it's much firmer than this one was. So let's see if I can. Oh yeah, that fits much better. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Again, if you do not feel comfortable working with electricity or doing this yourself, please, please, please do not do it. It's better to be safe than sorry. You are not crazy. You are not stupid for not doing this. What would be stupid is if you don't feel comfortable and you don't know what you're doing, going in there and doing it. So just be safe. But this is a very, very simple project. This is one of the easiest electrical repairs that you can do. So I hope you learned something from this. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.